Hello and welcome live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Gautam Roy, and coming up in the next hour, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi confers the nation's first ever National Creators Award to 23 recipients, including top social media influencers. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar wraps up his South Korea and Japan visit, calls on Japan's PM Kishida, conveys Prime Minister Modi's best regards, says he values Kishida's guidance on the global and special strategic partnership. On International Women's Day, France inscribes the right to abortion in its constitution. President Emmanuel Macron pushes the world to follow his country's footsteps. A Nigerian gunman kidnapped over 200 school kids in the northern town of Kuriga in the biggest mass abduction from a school since 2021. First up on News Hour, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave away the nation's first ever National Creators Awards to 23 recipients in 20 categories ranging from storytelling to social change. The awardees included the country's top social influencers. The government's intent with these awards is to recognize the work of content creators whose works have had a positive impact on society.
A landmark day for India's creator economy and ecosystem. Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave away the first ever National Creators Awards at New Delhi's Bharat Mandapam. The Prime Minister remarked on the occasion that these awards will become a huge source of inspiration for content creators and create an identity for their work.
ईश्वर कृपा है, मैं समय से पहले समय को भांप सकता हूं और इसलिए ये पहला ऐसा अवार्ड है जो शायद आने वाले दिनों में बहुत प्रमुख स्थान लेने वाला है। ये इस नए युग को एनर्जाइज कर रहे आप सब युवाओं को सम्मान देना, क्रिएटिविटी को सम्मान देना और समाज की रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी के प्रति जो संवेदनशीलता है उसको सम्मान करने का अवसर है।
The National Creators Award is an effort by the Indian government to recognize excellence and impact of the work of content creators across domains, including storytelling, social change advocacy, environmental sustainability, education and gaming, among others. The award is envisioned as a launchpad for using creativity to drive positive change.
This was one of its kind, and this was for the first time we were doing. So I first of all must congratulate the government, India, the entire team of MyGov, who has tirelessly worked in this, and especially our Honorable Prime Minister, under whose leadership this has come through. What is there at the mool of the basis of all this is the technological revolution, which under the leadership of our Prime Minister we have seen.
The recipients of the first ever National Creators Awards were overjoyed and expressed their gratitude to the government for the honour.
India is actually the first country that is recognizing and rewarding the content creators.
Really have it honored and recognized by the government itself is a big deal for us. And I think more importantly, seeing that's going to motivate a lot more younger, creative, talented people out there to start making content because they see, no, this is legitimate. This can get you places. You can do something with this.
Out of almost 2 lakh people, 23 got awarded. And all that too for something which touched the audience or touching the society in a way. So from next year, I guess the numbers will increase by 1 more zero, I guess.
The nomination process for India's first ever National Creators Award brought in over 150,000 applications in a short amount of time, showing stellar public engagement. 10 lakh votes were cast during the polling round for digital creators across 20 categories. And ultimately, 23 winners were identified by the jury, including 3 international creators. With inputs from Gautam Roy, Bureau Report, DD India.
And we'll have more for you on this story. A little later on in the show, we'll be joined by some of these awardees, and we will talk to them about this development, this unique honor that they've got today. Now, moving on for the moment, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has wrapped up his 2-nation visit to South Korea and Japan, where he held key interactions with heads of government and other officials to enhance India's bilateral relations with the 2 East Asian nations. Take a look.
India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Friday concluded his 2-nation visit to South Korea and Japan.
External Affairs Minister to South Korea. He visited Seoul on 5th and 6th to undertake the 10th India ROK Joint Commission meeting, which he co-chaired along with his counterpart, the Foreign Minister of Korea. He visited Japan from 6th to 8th, where he undertook the 16th round of our strategic dialogue along with Foreign Minister Kamikawa.
On the last day of his visit, Minister Jaishankar addressed the Nikkei Forum on India-Japan Special Strategic Partnership in Tokyo. While addressing the forum, Minister Jaishankar said that in the India-Japan relationship lie many solutions for us nationally, for the region and for the world.
India-Japan ties will both draw strength from our larger activities together, especially from the Quad, but as well contribute to its effectiveness and to its breadth. The bottom line is that the world is changing, the Indo-Pacific is changing, India and Japan are changing, but that in our relationship,
Minister Jaishankar called on Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida in Tokyo and conveyed him warm greetings of India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He praised Kishida's valuable guidance on the further strengthening of global and special strategic partnership. External Affairs Minister also met with Secretary General of Japan's Liberal Democratic Party and appreciated his friendship as well as support for India-Japan partnership. External Affairs Minister also held interaction with Japan's former PM Yoshihide Suga and hailed the impact his leadership had in advancing India-Japan ties as well as the Quad. In Tokyo, India's minister also met with wife of late Japan PM Shinzo Abe, Akei Abe, and recalled PM Shinzo Abe's invaluable contribution to the advancement of India-Japan relations. He also handed over a personal letter from PM Modi conveying his condolences on the recent passing away of the mother of the late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's Yoko Abe.
In a major artificial intelligence push, the Indian government has approved over $1.2 billion for India AI mission in the country. The India AI mission will establish a comprehensive ecosystem catalyzing AI innovation through strategic programs and partnerships across the public and private sectors. The government also plans to generate highly skilled employment opportunities with this mission.
AI के साथ हम एक नए युग में प्रवेश कर रहे हैं। आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का विस्तार टेक्नोलॉजी के टूल से भी कहीं ज्यादा है। एआई हमारे नए भविष्य को गढ़ने का सबसे बड़ा आधार बन रही है। एआई की एक बहुत बड़ी ताकत है लोगों को कनेक्ट करने की उसकी क्षमता। एआई के सही इस्तेमाल से सिर्फ देश की आर्थिक प्रगति ही सुनिश्चित नहीं होती, बल्कि ये समानता और सामाजिक न्याय को भी पक्का करता है।
In December 2023, India hosted the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence at the Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. More than 22,000 people attended the summit. During the inauguration, Prime Minister Narendra Modi emphasized the significance of artificial intelligence, stating that AI is emerging as the primary driver for shaping the future.
AI के प्रभाव से वर्तमान और आने वाली पीढ़ियां कोई भी छूटी नहीं है। हमें बहुत सतर्कता के साथ, बहुत सावधानी के साथ आगे बढ़ना है.
The India AI program will catalyze India's AI ecosystem and position it as a force shaping the future for AI for India and for the world. The overarching aim of this financial outlay is to ensure a structured implementation of the India AI mission through a public-private partnership model aimed at nurturing India's AI innovation ecosystem. Syed Absarul Hassan reporting for DD India.
As France makes a historic move by officially enshrining abortion rights in the country's constitution on Friday, French President Emmanuel Macron urged the European Union to include the right to abortion in its Charter of Fundamental Rights, as most of the European countries have imposed restrictions on it and only few countries have legalized abortion. The decision becomes more significant as women globally celebrated and are celebrating the International Women's Day this Friday.
Mais les reculs de notre époque.
The backward steps of our time made it necessity and an emergency, because everywhere in the world, including in the greatest democracies, including within our neighbors, in Europe, we are observing a step backward in the right to abortion, in women's right, and the rise of those who refuse women the right to love, to choose, to live freely. And so since the unthinkable is taking place, it was necessary for us to engrave it as irreversible.
Let's get you some more on that with DD India's Ross Cullen from Paris.
French parliamentarians on Monday the 4th voted this through. It had broad parliamentary appeal. The left wing, the centre and the right wing overwhelmingly voting in favour of this move, which has now happened this Friday. Emmanuel Macron and his justice minister, traditionally with a huge heavy seal, enshrining abortion rights into the French constitution. However, there is division and there are some opposition voices on the right. The far right party, the National Rally, only half of them voted in favour. The other half of the party chose not to turn up to the vote, or abstained or voted against. And the Conference of Catholic Bishops in France on Monday the 4th, when this was going through Parliament, the joint session of Congress in Château de Versailles, the bishops said it was better to write the rights of women and to enshrine the rights of children into the constitution, not access to pregnancy termination services. Emmanuel Macron did carry out that ceremony a little bit earlier here in central Paris, and he said, quote, "We're going to lead this fight in our continent, in our Europe. Reactionary forces are attacking women's rights."
And still to come on DD India News Hour, the US Embassy warns of imminent attack in Moscow by extremists, urges citizens to avoid crowds. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is in Istanbul, where he is set to hold talks with his Turkish counterpart. And EU's von der Leyen visits Cyprus port as maritime corridor to Gaza could open soon.
Never stops, where information shapes our reality. One app stands out, helps you stay ahead of time. Introducing the DD India app, your gateway to a world of news right at your fingertips. Your most trusted source of news goes global, goes digital. Explore a world of options, top stories, live updates, in-depth analysis and more. Stay informed wherever you are. Real-time alerts keep you ahead of the curve always. The DD India app, connecting you to the world one story at a time. Download now and explore the world of knowledge, insights and authentic information.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Gautam Roy. The abduction of school children has tragically become a recurring nightmare in Nigeria, with previous incidents sparking international outrage and condemnation. In the latest incident, gunmen stormed a school in Nigeria's northwest region and abducted over 200 students, underscoring the persistent security challenges facing the country's northern regions.
At least 287 students are missing after gunmen attacked a school in northwestern Nigeria in the second mass abduction within a week in the country. On Wednesday, suspected Islamist insurgents reportedly kidnapped 50 people, mostly women, in northeastern Nigeria. The students, aged between 8 and 15, of Kuriga's government secondary school in Kaduna state, were in the morning assembly ground when dozens of gunmen riding motorcycles stormed the school.
At government secondary school in Kuriga, about 187 students are missing, while at the primary school, about 125 pupils are missing, but 25 are back as we are talking to you now.
Eyewitnesses recount the horrifying scene as gunmen stormed the school grounds, firing shots into the air before rounding up the students. This marks the largest abduction targeting a school since 2021. The tense situation continues outside the school premises as anxious parents gather, seeking any information about the fate of their children.
How can this gunman come and carry our children? This is the reason why I am so sad. This is our Kuriga. Please, Your Excellency, help us.
The local government officials in Kaduna states have confirmed the kidnappings but didn't provide figures, and the exact number of children abducted is still unclear, with conflicting reports emerging from the chaotic scene.
By the grace of God, under my able leadership, we will try as much as possible to ensure that every child returns.
In 2021, Nigeria witnessed a series of similar abductions, including the infamous kidnapping of over 300 students from Kankara. While many were eventually released, these incidents have left scars in communities and raised concerns about the safety of schools in the region. Rabindu Chauhan reports for DD India.
And DD India's Tassim Akende gets us more from Jos in the north-central region of Nigeria.
Many other children sustained injuries as they scampered for safety as the gunmen took away their colleagues. Some teachers from the school were also taken away. The incident is coming just days after gunmen also attacked Borno State in the country's northern region and took away about 50 people, mostly women. Attacks are common in Nigeria, especially in the northern region, where the gunmen take away people for ransom. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has described Thursday's attack on the school as unfortunate and called on the authorities to do everything possible to secure their release. Governor of the state, Uba Sani, has visited the community and assured residents that his government is doing everything possible to secure their release. The president has also asked security chiefs to ensure that kidnapping for ransom and other forms of criminality are defeated in the country. Tassim Akende in Jos, reporting for DD India.
Hours after Russian security services declared they had stopped a planned shooting at a synagogue by a cell from the Islamic State's Afghan branch, the American embassy in Moscow issued a warning that extremists had immediate intentions to launch an attack in Moscow. The embassy, which has repeatedly urged all US citizens to leave Russia immediately, gave no further details about the nature of the threat, but said people should avoid concerts and crowds and be aware of their surroundings. The embassy issued its warning several hours after Russia's Federal Security Service, the main successor to the Soviet-era KGB, said it had foiled an attack on a synagogue in Moscow by a cell of the militant Sunni Muslim group Islamic State. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky arrived in Istanbul on Friday for talks with his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Zelensky's office said earlier that among topics for discussion are Kiev's proposal to end the conflict as well as Black Sea navigation security and global food stability. Turkey is expected to emphasize its continued strong support for Ukraine. Meanwhile, it's also been revealed that Ukraine can receive about 6 billion euros from the European Union through its 4-year Ukraine facility in the next 2 months. Ukraine's Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal said the government expects to receive 4.5 billion euros in March and another 1.5 billion euros in April. Now, as Russia gears up for presidential elections, ballots have been delivered to the Russian-controlled Donetsk region on Friday. Russia's election body will conduct a voting in 4 regions of Ukraine from the 15th to the 17th of this month. These regions were claimed by Russia last year, but Ukraine has said it will not accept any Russian vote in Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhia and Kherson. Moving on, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has visited the Cypriot port of Larnaca on Friday, which is said to be the launch pad for the maritime aid corridor between Cyprus and Gaza, alongside Cyprus's President Nicholas Christodoulidis. Von der Leyen earlier said that a maritime aid corridor could start operating between the Mediterranean country and Gaza this weekend as part of accelerating Western efforts to relieve the humanitarian crisis in the war-ravaged Palestinian enclave. Her comments came a day after US President Joe Biden announced plans for the US military to build a temporary pier on Gaza's Mediterranean coast.
We are launching this Cyprus Maritime Corridor together. Cyprus, the European Union, the United Arab Emirates and the United States. And it is your relentless work to get this corridor up and running. Despite all the challenges, and this is truly inspiring. We are now very close to the opening of the corridor, hopefully this Sunday. And I'm very glad to see that an initial pilot operation will be launched today.
Meanwhile, several other countries are either already dropping aid into Gaza or are planning to do so as famine concerns mount in the enclave. The US is planning to construct a temporary port in Gaza to get more humanitarian aid into the territory by sea. The temporary port will increase the amount of humanitarian assistance to Palestinians by hundreds of additional truckloads. The US and its Middle East allies are ramping up airdrops of food aid into Gaza as well. US military carried out its third airdrop, dropping more than 38,000 meals. Also, in joint efforts with France and Belgium, Jordanian armed forces also dropped aid over Gaza, with 9 aid airdrops in the northern Gaza Strip alone. Also, the United Nations has said international focus should be on large-scale distribution and early humanitarian aid into Gaza by land, but any way to deliver more aid is obviously good. DD India's Alex Kadir reports from Jerusalem.
Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs just a few minutes ago saying that Israel welcomes the launch of the maritime corridor from Cyprus to the Gaza Strip, saying that the Cypriot initiative will allow for the increase of humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip after security checks according to Israeli standards. And we've seen a similar statement from Israeli officials after the announcement that came out from President Biden's State of the Union speech. The statement from the Foreign Ministry here goes on to say that Israel will continue to fight Hamas, which calls for the destruction of the state of Israel. And we've seen just in less than an hour ago a statement from the USA, the UK, the European Commission, the UAE, some European member states, as well as Cyprus, of course, saying that they will work with the UN. Cyprus will convene officials from all the interested parties to figure out exactly how this maritime corridor will work, and they also welcomed the construction of a temporary pier by the United States. That pier will allow bigger ships to dock. The port in Gaza currently can only hold small fishing vessels, and so that will really allow the flow of aid to go in. But certainly that measure is being welcomed by the Israeli government, who's also being pressured by its allies to open more road crossings into Gaza. So really some strong reaction, of supportive reaction from the Israeli government so far.
And thousands took part in the 13th edition of the Jerusalem Marathon on Friday and paid tributes to hostages who are still held in Gaza. The streets of Israel's capital were overflowing with runners as the annual International Jerusalem Winter Marathon was being celebrated. The race featured a record 40,000 participants from over 70 countries. Many runners embrace patriotic spirit with Israel flags and bring them home signs referencing the hostages. Let's now get you some other updates that have been making news around the world. Former British Prime Minister Theresa May on Friday said that she will not stand for re-election to Parliament. Theresa May is the latest member of the governing Conservative Party to signal her departure from frontline politics later this year. Current Prime Minister Rishi Sunak paid tribute to May, describing her as a fiercely loyal and relentless campaigner, and said she defined what is meant to be a public servant. Thousands of students marched in central Athens on Friday as Parliament prepared to vote on a bill that allows foreign private universities to set up branches in the country. Students, teachers and university staff staged repeated protests over the past weeks against the planned reform, saying it will devalue degrees from public universities and further reduce state funding for public education. Around 4,000 people marked International Women's Day at a rally in Berlin on Friday, which is a public holiday in the German capital. The demonstration in Oranin Square in the Arti Kreuzberg district was organized by women's groups and unions, and participants demanded equal rights for women, describing the present situation as unacceptable. Leaders in Portugal wrapped up 2 weeks of campaigning ahead of Sunday's snap elections. Waving flags and shouting political slogans, hundreds of people took to the streets on Friday of Lisbon to support the right-wing coalition. The election, taking place 2 years ahead of schedule, was called when Socialist Prime Minister Antonio Costa resigned in November. And still to come on DD India News Hour, we'll be speaking with some of India's first ever National Creators Award winners. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a visit to Assam and Arunachal Pradesh, the two states in the northeast. The PM will visit the famous Kaziranga National Park as well in Assam. And it's International Women's Day, a day meant to build a gender equal world free of bias, stereotypes and discrimination. India that invents. India that innovates. India that excites. India that invites. Land of possibility. Teeming with opportunities. Watch India Ideas each Thursday, 8 p.m. only on DD India. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Gautam Roy, and before we go any further, another look at our top stories. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi confers the nation's first ever National Creators Awards to 23 recipients, including top social media influencers. India's External Affairs Minister wraps up his South Korea and Japan visit, calls on Japan's Prime Minister Kishida, conveys Prime Minister Modi's best regards, saying he values Kishida's guidance on the global and special strategic partnership. And on International Women's Day, France inscribes the right to abortion in its constitution. President Macron pushes the world to follow his country's footsteps. Also, Nigerian gunmen kidnap over 200 school kids in the northern town of Kuriga in the biggest mass abduction from a school since 2021 in that country. Okay, let's now take you back to one of our top stories about India's first ever or inaugural National Creators Award, a novel recognition for the work done by India's content creators. Joining us to talk about this unprecedented honor are not one, not two, but I'm hopeful there will be three of these awardees, these winners. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to DD India Kamya Jani, Curly Tales, the famed Curly Tales creator and a National Creators Awardee 2024. She got the Best Travel Creator Award. We have Maithili Thakur as well, singer and National Creator awardee 2024 as well, very well known, and she has lots of fans, including my mother. And we also have RJ Ronak with us, radio jockey and National Creators Awardee 24, joining us in a short while. Kamya Ajani, let me first come to you. Many congratulations, and congratulations to both of you. In fact, it's also International Women's Day. But just tell me, did you ever imagine that when you gave up journalism, you were like people like me? When you gave up journalism, that you'll be doing something that you love, and that will lead you to this sort of an honor that you've got today, apart from, you know, the kind of millions of followers and fans that you have all over India and the world?
Thank you so much, firstly, for the wishes, both for the award as well as Women's Day. And I'm having a good deja vu moment as I speak to you, because this is exactly what I used to do about 5 or 6 years ago when I quit my job to pursue my passion of traveling the world. The honest answer is no, I never thought I would come this far, because who really cares about anybody traveling, right? For many years, my relatives, my friends would just ask me, what is it that you're doing, you know, creating videos wherever you are traveling or eating? And is that even a profession? And I feel like the day has come today, sealed and stamped, that content creation is a full-fledged profession. And who better than our Prime Minister Narendra Modi to give this stamp on our profession? You know, we really work very hard to create content. And I feel like, yeah, it's been an honor and an absolute pleasure with the fact that it happened on Women's Day. So I think it's a double whammy.
I envy you. Got out of the profession that we all are in, and then travel the world as well, and all this to boot with that as well. Now, Maithili, I mentioned that my mother is a fan because I am from Mithila as well, and it seems that Prime Minister Modi is also your fan.
Well, it was very, I'm so speechless right now. I don't know what to say. It was...
There's a Madhubani painting behind you as well, which is so beautiful.
Yeah, it is in my home. It is hand painted by me and
oh wow, wonderful, multi-talented Maithili.
Yeah. So today I met our Prime Minister for the very first time, and in a very, how can I say, very comfortable way, where we were discussing about the content creation being the full-time job, like how Curly Tails Kamya Didi said, and I am so happy to receive this award, Cultural Ambassador of the Year, because this is nothing which I ever imagined. And I used to just make simple videos from a simple phone and just put it on YouTube without doing any heavy editing or anything. But I never thought that it will be recognized by the Prime Minister of India, and he'll be inviting us and giving us the honor to receive these awards. So I'm super happy, and I think that so many kids are now motivated, and they'll start making videos, and they'll start thinking about it like content creation being the full-time job, and achieving so much in this field.
Yes, people like you are major figures of inspiration, and you deserve all the accolades that you're getting, you and all the other awardees and the awardees to come and guest in the years that follow. Now, Kamya, how did you hear about this award, and what did you feel that, you know, when the entire process began, there were people who were sort of asked to write in or, you know, give their applications. How did you get to know about this and this initiative, really, which is so novel? And what did you feel when you heard about
it? Is that for me?
Yes, Kamya.
Yes. So because we are in the social media platform, that's exactly where I discovered that these awards are happening. I did post a story on my account asking my followers to nominate me, and clearly that worked in my favor. I feel like, you know, there are so many content creators, even to make it to the nomination list is an award in itself. So without any expectations, I showed up today, and I was very happy and pleasantly surprised to receive the award. So there were so many applications, like I've told, and even today at Bharat Mandapam, the event was attended by more than 3,000 content creators. And from blast I heard, there are about 8 crore content creators in India in all capacity, be it, you know, housewives, kids, students, you know, even those office goers doing this as a part-time profession. So it's truly an honor and a privilege to be amongst the select few to attend the event today at Bharat Mandapam.
Yes, and since we are talking about creators let's talk about the creative economy as well, because if I tell you, Maithili, how would you react to it? There are about 462 million, I had my research team pull out some numbers, 462 million social media users in our country, 100 million creators, and the marketing sector, the influencer marketing sector right now is worth 12 billion Indian rupees. I can break that down in about $1.5 billion as well. But the projection is over the next 5 years, each year it will grow by 25%. What do you think about that?
Actually, there's something that I have never thought of, because my job is very simple. I have to practice so hard and make videos and post it for the people to listen to, and to promote our cultural music, and to promote the traditional songs which I sing from, not only from Bihar and from every state of India. So these facts and figures are like a very complicated thing for me. But yes, I'm so happy to see that the word influencer, it was, I think, I must say or must not say this, but the word influencer was getting a little in some negative light, like
yes, some pejorative associations were coming with it, but that should change now.
Yeah, she's influencer, she's content creator, but now it is now certified by the Prime Minister of India that yes, she is an influencer. So
yes, people have started talking about influencers as influenza, but I'm sure the perception will change now. RJ, Ronak is also with us, well-known radio jockey and another National Creators Awardee 2024. Congratulations to you. Thanks. You could join us, Ronak. And would you be speaking to us as Ronak, or will you speak as Bawa? How comfortable is Bawa in English?
Thank you very much, first of all, for mentioning and talking about randomly on stage. I never planned it, but yeah, Bawa is like my shadow. So unfortunately or fortunately, people talk more about my shadow than myself. But I'm really glad to receive this award, and thank you very much. Thank you very much for mentioning that. Yeah.
We were just talking about numbers. Maithili refused to comment about them, saying that they kind of went over her head. But these numbers tell their own story as to how powerful this medium, the social media medium, is, and what creativity can do, that almost anyone can be a creator these days. What do you make of that sort of a possibility here in India, where we have such numbers and so many creative people? Ronak.
So there is a very interesting thing, so there are two types of creators which over a period of, time, which I have realized. One, people who actually create content, and second, people who actually react on different content. And there is a parallel economy on that. If you're not able to create your own original content, at least you can react on someone else's content. Whether reacting on someone else's content or reacting on a situation, and itself is considered as content creation. For example, if a cricket match has happened, so if you want to talk about that match, that is a content. If something political or social happened, you want to talk about that itself is content. If Maithili has sung a brilliant song, and if you want to talk about that and react with your friends on a Zoom call and put it on air or put it on your YouTube channel, that itself is content. So content is something which is there everywhere. That's why so many people, every household has a content creator. इनफैक्ट मुझे तो ये लगता है कि हर घर में अगर 4 लोग होंगे तो उसमें 6 YouTube channels होंगे. And that's how it is, and that's why it's growing every day. And after this award ceremony, after this award function, I think more and more people will be, inspired and motivated to create meaningful content which is impacting, people's life in the country. So that's what this award has done to, I think, and we are really honored to receive this award in presence of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi.
Certainly, it's a great motivation, because Kamya, they say social media is a double-edged sword. It can be used for good, it can be used for bad. There's so much talk about fake news. There's now, of course, AI being used as well to make fake videos and fake images. We've seen that as well. But there is one way to tackle it, is to come down like an iron rod on it, 1,000 bricks on it, just stifle social media by that way. And there's this way where you incentivize what is good, what should be really emerging out of social media, which has a positive impact on society. So do you feel that this is a great way to go about doing it as well?
Absolutely, and I think that was one of the most primary messages that was given by our Prime Minister today as part of the interaction. But every time he was awarding a creator from different categories, so be it a technology space, he was talking about how we can actually make a change, how we can make a difference. And he clearly mentioned that the influence that we are having is extremely impactful and it is effective. The numbers that you mentioned about the economy, and I would agree to that the way it is growing, it's only because the influence the content creators have on their followers is huge. The impact is huge. Their followers believe them for the authenticity, the kind of content that they're believing. And I think that puts us in an extremely responsible situation of how we are able to communicate any message that we truly believe in. We have creators who want to promote environment, who want to promote cleanliness, or who want to promote tourism, much like I do. Now, it is on to us as to how we promote and bring India to the global travel map. And that for me is serious business. And that for me is a responsibility that I want to take up and make a difference there where, in the world, if anybody wants to travel, they should come to India. And more than anybody else, Indians themselves should explore India in the best possible way, because I truly believe there's no place in the world better than India.
Oh, certainly, certainly. And you've been making that evident through your videos as well. Maithili, the other thing to talk about, of course, is what you're doing. It's not just music, it's about culture as well. And you're an ambassador of culture for our country. And that is something that is worth emulating. And how do you think that can, further snowball into a renewal of our culture going around all over the world?
Yes. Actually, the title, the Culture Ambassador of the Year, it is certainly something which I really needed the most, because what I do and what I do for people, what I do for my family, it is revolving around the culture and where I hail from, like the Bihari music and the Maithili music, which I don't think people ever heard about, the Ram Sita Vivah Sankirtan, which I started a series of on YouTube. So this is how I started to grow, and I really want to inspire the kids of my age, or people of my age, younger or elder, to sing their traditional songs wherever they are from. So I want people to be influenced by me in this case.
Wonderful. And just to request, the Prime Minister also requested you, we'll also request you, it is International Women's Day, you could sing about that a little bit, or it's Mahashivratri as well today, so happy Mahashivratri to you all as well. And you could give us a few verses on that too, if you could do that.
Sure. I'll sing the same thing which I sang in the morning. Dimik, dimik, डमरू कर बाजे प्रेम मगन नाचे भोला भोला डिमिक डिमिक डमरू कर बाजे प्रेम मगन नाचे भोला सिंही नाद बजावत गावत सिंही नाद बजावत गावत लटक रही बगली झोला भोला डिमिक डिमिक डमरू कर बाजे प्रेम मगन नाचे भोला.
Lovely, wonderful, thank you. Ronak, in terms of how your messages go out to people, you of course were initially on radio, and then is this working like a force multiplier for you to take your talent, not just your talent, but whatever you want to express as well, to as many people as possible around not just the country but the world?
So basically it's complementary for me because I'm still working in radio station, and I host the morning show here in Red FM Delhi every day, Monday to Saturday, 7 to 11. And that while doing radio for more than 16 years, we have realized that it is much simpler for us to create a content, because radio is in terms of content, there is no specialization of or a beat specific thing on radio. So we talk about everything on radio. We talk about sports, we talk about Bollywood, we talk about films, we talk about
regional content, we talk about socio-political content. So that gave us, and especially to me, an edge to create all these categories on digital. So once we arrived on YouTube channels or the Meta platforms, we created 5-6 different channels, and we had to create different content for different categories in a different way. And what we could do is we could utilize our the way we used to create. So in radio, as we all know that time is very short. You have to create that content in a very crisp and a witty way, so that you need to hook your audience. You need to you need to hold your audience for a longer period of time. So 2 minute ka content karna, and if you want to do quickly, digital space gave us much wider, lamba samay bhi diya, and it gave us more opportunity to create multiple content of multiple categories on different other channels. So that's what I did. So I have 4-5 different YouTube channels for different category of content, and everything is जिसमें humor का तड़का है, there's wit in that, and we create content for every stuff. So radio for radio guy, for a radio jockey like me, digital intervention is like it's like a compliment. So which is helping us. Sone pe suhaga, yes.
And I applaud you for that, but you'll get a louder applause if before we close we could get a Bawa joke from you.
Thank you very much, sir. Bawa सुनना सब लोग चाहते हैं, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने भी बउआ से संबोधित किया था मुझे बीच में, और
इससे पहले मैं कोविड में उनसे जब ऑनलाइन मिला था 2020 में, सो ही जस्ट रेफर्ड मी, और बउआ जी क्या हाल है. और आज का जो सेशन था, इनफैक्ट आई वुड लाइक टू क्लोज विद दैट, जिसपे मैं एक लाइन ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर को बोलने वाला था, बट जब आप स्टेज पे जाते हो और उनके सामने जाते हो तो बहुत सारी चीजें भूल जाते हो. सो आई फॉरगॉट दैट. So and as Kamya very rightly mentioned, with each creator, with each content creator, he had a different opinion and he had a different point of view, and he knew that creator and what he's been creating and why he or she is very popular. So and he was very witty, he was very impromptu, और वो बहुत ज़्यादा jokes भी
मैथिली की भी थोड़ी टांग खींची उन्होंने.
और बहुत लोगों की टांग खींची, किसी को खाने पे ताना मारा, किसी का वजन हल्का था तो उसको बोला कि you should eat more. So a lot of things. So I wanted to say in a Bawa style that देखिए, और ये प्राइम मिनिस्टर के लिए भी जाता है और ये हम सब के लिए भी जाता है कि देखिए, जिसकी मस्ती जिंदा है उसकी हस्ती जिंदा है, वरना वो आदमी जबरदस्ती जिंदा है. So प्लीज उस मस्ती को आप लोग जिंदा रखें. And all the best, everyone. And congratulations to all the creators. Yeah.
Very true. And congratulations to you and the other recipients once again from the entire DD family. Thank you so much for joining us and talking about it. More success in the coming days. Now, moving on. World celebrates International Women's Day to mark the contribution of women in every sector. And that's what we've been seeing throughout the day. And we had a great celebration here in office as well. Just take a look.
For past several years, world has witnessed the potential of women in diverse fields. Today we celebrate the strength, resilience and brilliance of women around the world on International Women's Day. Women from special categories and tribal backgrounds were honoured in a special gathering at India's Rashtrapati Bhavan as President of India Draupadi Murmu met with them to celebrate their achievements. Celebrating this occasion, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended wishes on the International Women's Day. PM Modi announced a major reduction in the prices of domestic gas cylinder by ₹100. PM said the decision will significantly ease the financial burden on millions of households. Strengthening the role of women in nation service, Prime Minister also announced that Indian educator and author Sudha Murthy was nominated to the Rajya Sabha or the upper house. Murthy thanked Prime Minister for the nomination and said it's a big Women's Day gift. Indian government is committed to empower women through initiatives in education, entrepreneurship, agriculture, technology, and more that is also reflected in nation's accomplishments in the last decade. As a special gift on the International Women's Day, France enshrined the abortion rights in the Constitution, a world's first. It comes after the lawmaker made an amendment earlier this week. Meanwhile, French singer performed the national anthem with altered lyrics, adding women citizens in the chorus. Berlin marks International Women's Day as a public holiday. Thousands marked Women's Day and marched at Orion Square. This year in 2024, the theme for International Women's Day is Inspire Inclusion, which emphasizes the importance of inspiring women to be included, fostering a sense of belonging, relevance and empowerment. Happy International Women's Day.
India's Prime Minister will be visiting Assam's Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve. Prime Minister Modi will also dedicate several projects in Jorhat to the nation. DD India's Prasar Bharati reports.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Assam's Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Kaziranga National Park is famous for one-horned rhinoceros. Elephants, wild water buffalo, swamp deer and tigers are also found in the park. Prime Minister was given a grand welcome as he reached Kaziranga. Thousands welcomed Prime Minister in a traditional way.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit in Assam stands on the cusp of a new era fueled by a commitment to heritage, progress and prosperity. It changes the landscape of Assam, reminding the transformative power of vision and action.
Prime Minister Modi will also unveil the 84 feet high magnificent statue of Lachit Borphukan, the famous general of the Royal Army of the Ahom Kingdom of Assam who defeated the Mughals. The project also included the construction of Lachit and Thai Ahom Museum and a 500-seating capacity auditorium.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be the first Prime Minister to stay overnight in Kaziranga, and in my view, he will be the first Prime Minister to visit Kaziranga.
At the public program in Jorhat, Prime Minister Modi will inaugurate, dedicate to nation and lay the foundation stone of multiple development projects strengthening the health, oil and gas, rail and housing sectors. PM Modi will also lay the foundation stone of projects under Prime Minister's Development Initiative for Northeastern Region scheme. He will also lay the foundation stone of important projects of oil and gas sector, dedicate important railway projects. Tapas Bhattacharya's report for DD India.
Nestled amidst the tranquil expanse of Assam's landscape, the Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve emerges as an untouched sanctuary. Among the valiant gardens of this pristine wilderness, the Vandurgas stand tall. They are a newly recruited cadre of fearless female frontline forest staff. Here's our salute to them on International Women's Day.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting Assam and he will be coming to Kaziranga National Park and he will meet Vandurga. Well, they are the frontline staff of Kaziranga National Park, and to get an idea on the Women's Day, what it means to be a frontline staff in such a beautiful landscape.
We are Bandurga, means frontline staff of Kaziranga National Park, and we are doing night duty also in jungle. We are representing Bandurga 36 numbers of groups.
What it is to see Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He will be coming here, he will be meeting all of you. Excited to see him?
So excited to meet Prime Minister.
Okay.
Narendra Modi ji.
Okay, and so I just wanted to put it across to you that this Vandurga group that has been created by the Kaziranga National Park, they are the frontline workers working in tandem with their male counterparts. And on this Women's Day, this is a huge statement that comes that in wildlife, everyone is equal. With Campus Rahul Chopra, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Kaziranga National Park in Assam.
Prime Minister Modi will dedicate the Sela tunnel in the northeastern state of Arunachal Pradesh to the nation on the 9th of March, which is on Saturday. This is an all-weather tunnel and is strategically very important for the armed forces at 13,000 feet. DD India's Vishal Biristo has spoken exclusively with Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister Pema Khandu about the tunnel and the PM's visit.
I'm here at the Sela tunnel and I with me the Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh. He is quite a contented person and a happy man because his constituency Tawang would be connected to Bubla. How happy are you because this was a long-standing project?
Yeah, in fact, we are very much happy. I express my sincere thanks to Honorable Prime Minister on behalf of the people of my constituency, on behalf of the people of Tawang and on behalf of the people of Arunachal Pradesh. Like Sela tunnel building here in this kind of an altitude, it was unimaginable And I also like to express my heartiest thanks and congratulations to the Border Roads organizations. And they have done a very tremendous and a very excellent work here. After coming up of this tunnel, no doubt, the distance between Tawang and West Kaméng will be reduced. The travel time will be reduced by 1 hour.
Well, absolutely. And this has got strategic importance for the armed forces as well. So you share a long border with Tibet, China. So what do you have to say on that?
Arunachal, we have a very long border with Tibet, China. So now all the forward villages, which is also known as the first village of our country, all those villages, those who are unconnected, are being connected by by good roads under vibrant village programs. Recently, we got more than 1,000 kilometers sanctioned under this program. So now people are quite happy and people are quite satisfied from the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Sahab, that how he drives things for the betterment of the people.
One last question, apart from the strategic importance, this is quite a good news for the tourists as well, and Tawang, which has got a lot of potential as far as tourism is concerned. So how important is going to be this tunnel, because it would be a year-round access to Tawang?
Yeah, after coming up of this tunnel, and tomorrow Honorable PM Sahab will be inaugurating this tunnel. So once this tunnel is open for the commuters, definitely the quantum of tourists, especially in Tawang sector, is going to increase a lot.
So there you heard the very proud Chief Minister. This tunnel will give a huge impetus not only to the tourism sector of the state, but also to the strategic importance as far as the armed forces are concerned. With cameraman Yogesh in Sela, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
Unified Payment Interface, or UPI, is now live in Nepal. NPCI International Payments Limited and PhonePe Payment Service signed a deal for cross-border transactions between India and Nepal. Both entities are now fully operational and ready to facilitate QR code-based person-to-merchant UPI transactions. In its first phase, this partnership will enable Indian consumers to make instant UPI payments across various business stores in Nepal. This milestone signifies a new era of digital connection and collaboration between the two friendly nations. Two-day Nazrul Utsav begins in Dhaka on Friday evening to commemorate and pay tribute to poet Qazi Nazrul Islam. Indira Gandhi Cultural Centre in Dhaka joined the Bangladesh Nazrul Sangeet Sanstha and the Gulshan Society to co-organize the Nazrul Festival 2024 in Dhaka. The High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, Pranay Verma, addressed the inaugural session of the festival and described Qazi Nazrul and his works as a precious shared legacy of India and Bangladesh. Let's now take a look at some other developments that are taking place in the country. On the occasion of International Women's Day on Friday, India's Minister for Sports and Youth Affairs, Anurag Singh Thakur, announced the establishment of 2 National Centres of Excellence exclusively for women. National Centres of Excellence cover 23 focused disciplines where Indian athletes have a chance to win medals in global competitions. A merchant vessel's crew expressed their gratitude and admiration for the Indian Navy by shouting slogans of Bharat Mata Ki Jai, that is Hail Mother India, as they were escorted by an Indian Navy warship in the Arabian Sea. The Indian Navy warship is providing security and protection to Indian and international merchant vessels in the Arabian Sea and the Gulf of Aden. From the snow-covered peaks of the Himalayas to the bustling streets of bustling cities, devotees of Lord Shiv came together on Friday to celebrate the auspicious Hindu festival of Mahashivratri. People from India's neighbouring countries also celebrated the festival with great fervour. DD India's Mihir Mekri brings us this report.
India celebrated the auspicious Hindu festival of Mahashivratri with great pomp on Friday. This festival is not restricted to India alone. The religious fervour is also witnessed in neighbouring countries. On this day, devotees observe day-long fast for Lord Shiva and visit temples. India's President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Modi extended their heartfelt greetings to the nation on the occasion. From Odisha's Lingaraj Temple to Baba Baidyanath Temple in Jharkhand and to Madhya Pradesh's Mahakaleshwar Temple, all these places of worship dedicated to Lord Shiva were adorned with flowers and witnessed long queues of devotees offering prayers to three-eyed deity. In Nepal, the revered Pashupatinath temple was adorned with flowers, bunting, garlands and lights for Mahashivratri. Thousands of devotees carrying flowers, incense, rice and other offerings thronged the temple. A fair was also organized to distribute free drinks, water, snacks and sweets to the devotees. In Sri Lanka, temples were beautifully decorated and special arrangements were made to perform Shivratri Puja. Sri Lanka has a strong Shiva tradition and boasts ancient Panch Ishwaram temples, which are integral to the cultural soul of Sri Lankan Hindus. The festival of Mahashivratri was also celebrated with great fervour in Mauritius, where the Hindu festival was joyously observed.
Mahashivratri, the great night of Shiva, today, where we have prayers in all around the Shivala, the Covils in Mauritius, and we have to stay awake whole night, and we do prayer 4 times, the 4 Pahar Puja.
This is our culture, so we have to pray. We have a very good moment here. Also people serving donation. The food is very nice, very delicious.
Beyond its spiritual significance, Mahashivratri is also a time for acts of compassion and service. Devotees engage in charitable activities, feeding the hungry, caring for the needy, and spreading love and kindness in their communities. Mihir Mekuri, DD India.
On that celebratory note, that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X as well as Instagram. We'll be back with more news and updates as a break here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.